Whenever you want to record, there's always something going on outside. I mean, you should be indoors anyway. Quarantine, isn't it? All right, let's go on with a video. So welcome to another video of What Is Your Beef? It's a bit of an interesting one today because I know it's another talking head, but I wanted to talk about MCT oil. We are now quarantined, obviously. The football season's suspended, so we can't really be doing any training on a football pitch, really. So we have to keep ourselves fit. So we end up doing running 5 times a week. And the distances are sort of roughly between 3 and 5 kilometers. We sort of get given times and sort of training days, which usually tend to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we have to cover a certain distance and do certain types of runs. So I roughly try and cover 5K every day pretty much, so that works out at 25K a week. I've got quite a few runs around here where I live. So to give you a bit of a context as to what my routine looks like with regards to running, just because I want to minimize the sort of variables that are there, and I tend to run on a fasted state. My meal the night before tends to be about between 6 and 7 p.m. That's roughly when I finish. And my runs tend to be between sort of 8:30 and 9:15. That's roughly that sort of time frame when I start. I also go to bed at a reasonable time, so I'm not sort of staying up late just because I'm off. So as I said, I'm trying to minimize my variables. One of the things that I've started to, pay more attention to is MCT oils after having read The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Performance. And it's an excellent book, especially obviously being an athlete, a fat adapted athlete. And there were so many little nuggets in there that I just found really interesting. So I decided to obviously pursue MCT oil after having read about it in the book. And I started making a coffee in the morning with a little bit of collagen, MCT oil, and obviously the coffee. I whack in a blender and I have it for my run. And the results have been quite interesting. What ends up happening is they get absorbed much quicker in your intestine, and then what they end up doing is they're forcing the liver to produce ketones, and ketones are obviously, the whole underlying idea of the ketogenic diet, that your brain runs on ketones, and essentially your skeletal muscles can also take advantage of ketone bodies depending on how adapted you are. But as I said, I've read quite a lot about the ketone bodies and obviously MCT and how they boost exercise performance. So I decided to give this a try. So my rough time is between 4 minutes 30 and 5 minutes. That's roughly how long it takes me to sort of do a kilometer. But my times with MCT have been closer to the 4 minute 30 mark, whereas my times without the MCT have been closer to the 4 minutes 50, 4 minutes 55, even 5 minute mark. And I find that actually quite interesting, because if you look at this over the sort of the 5 kilometers, the difference can be between 50 seconds and 1 minute 40 of difference in duration of the run. Now that's huge on 5 kilometers. That's a massive advantage essentially. My times with MCT have been on average 4 minutes 38 seconds, and without MCT they've been between 4 minutes and 50, which was today's run, and my run I think on Monday was 5 minute splits for that per kilometer. Now as I said, that's a massive difference. I want to experiment with this further, but obviously it's quite hard to say because this is just anecdotal evidence at this moment in time. So the next step for me will be to put on a heart rate monitor and try and keep the times the same, because heart rate is the ultimate sort of determinant of how much or how hard you're working. So if I run 4 minutes 30 and my heart rate is say 160, and then I run 4 minutes 30 and my heart rate's 180, say without MCT, then that obviously tells you that I am working a lot harder to maintain the same pace. So heart rate will definitely be a determinant, and I'm hoping that I'm somehow going to be able to get my hand on a heart rate monitor or a heart rate belt and just run with it and just see what the differences are going to be. But yeah, it's quite an interesting one, and especially for running, I mean, I'm really enjoying sort of doing these runs anyway. I mean, it also helps that it's not making you fat, I guess, because of the way it gets absorbed and it doesn't get stored in your adipose tissue. So that's another obviously benefit of MCT. Now, one of the downsides of MCT or too much MCT consumption is you end up having diarrhea. I mean, that's, I think anybody who's experimented with MCT, especially if you're on the sort of keto side. Now, I'm a bit curious as to why there isn't more research going on in sort of MCT and in sport. I found this article here which talks about the performance benefits of using MCT in exercise, but there doesn't seem to be much literature out there. I mean, I've looked everywhere, and if you have any sources, please leave them in the comments, because I would really be curious about reading more about this. It seems like there's a massive hole in the market for performance athletes. They're not taking MCT, or they're not taking advantage of this essentially free performance by just having MCT just before a workout or before a game or whatever. And I'm really curious to see if there's any more stuff going on, or whether there's anyone more interested and more in depth about this. As I said, I'm just one person. This could be anecdotal evidence, and there could be a variable that I'm not really controlling or not thinking of. But so far, as I said, I've had really good results on using MCT. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think MCT should become a staple in sport, or have you experimented with it, and what are your thoughts on using MCT during exercise? So thank you very much for watching. I know it was another talking head video, but I find that there isn't a lot of information out there when it comes to sort of being low carb or carnivore and exercise and performance. I find that a lot of people are doing this for weight loss, but not really a lot of people are doing this to just improve their performance, and that's sort of what I'm trying to get across. Thank you very much for watching again. Please do subscribe to this channel, and also make sure you hit that bell icon to stay up to date with my latest video releases. Also, make sure you follow me on the social media channels, both Instagram and Twitter. I'm quite active there. And also, don't forget to check out my Facebook group called Low Carb Athlete, as well as my subreddit, which has got the same name. But anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.